What is up, everybody? Good morning and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Marvel Rivals. Today we are going to be taking a look at this guy, ImWind, playing Iron Fist. So we're going to do another spectating video today, but it is going to be a little bit different for a couple of reasons. One, I just want to preface that I do understand what Iron Fist does to a pretty good degree, I think more than most people, but there is probably stuff that I will miss in this video, so feel free to leave a comment if I do miss anything, if there's any tips you have about Iron Fist, all that sort of stuff. This is definitely a character that I'm not super confident on, but I will do my best to try and narrate what he's thinking and do all of that. The second reason that this is going to be a little bit different is because it does not take place in Grandmaster, Celestial, or One Above All. This is going to be a high diamond lobby, so just keep that in mind as we're watching this replay. So let's get right into it, and I will try and break down what is going on. Something else that is also going to be a little bit different about this replay is that we're not going to be in the thick of the fight a whole lot, so it might be a little bit harder for me to keep up on what the rest of the team is doing. I'll do my best to call that out, but for the most part, this guy plays on the wings, and he plays for picks, very in and out sort of guerrilla play style. So we're gonna do our best here. So immediately going over to this right hand side, he's already built a little bit of overshield, so he's already used his E to make sure that he's at 325 health. Pops his right click to block some of the Psylocke auto attacks, and you can see that he builds a little bit more overshield that way. If you didn't know, Iron Fist does build overshield when he blocks attacks. I think he can block up to 3 attacks with his right click block, so you can get yourself up to like 400 health, I believe, if you have if you block a few of those, or above 400 health. This first push is actually kind of washed because his Magneto and his Namor do get picked. So he's just going to have to be content. Sitting over on the side, he's in a good position. He's just waiting for his team to get back. He sees the Namor come back out of spawn, and he's able to get onto this Invisible Woman. Not able to get the kill, unfortunately, there. Pops his block and double jumps out. Plays behind this little cover over here. Tries to get a kill on the Bucky. Drops low again, and just opts to reset behind this pillar. Pops his E while he's safe to both heal all the way up and build a little bit of overshield before going over to this left-hand side and looking for this Mantis in the backline. Gets right on her, pops his block to try and avoid some damage, and uses his left shift defensively to quickly dash out of there. You will see him use his left shift both offensively and defensively during this replay as well, going over there to grab the rocket armor that's coming off of the res beacon, and his cooldowns are coming back up, so he's looking for another chance to get right in there. He actually hits a really nice combo there, so if you didn't know, Iron Fist he has a 6-punch combo, I believe. I think it's 5 or 6, but I'm pretty sure it's 6. But he auto attacks a few times without actually hitting the Mantis there, and then stops auto attacking and then gets the kind of tracking thing up that pulls him to his target, hits her with the last 3 hits of the combo, the final hit doing the most damage of all of them, and then left shifts, and that's pretty much enough to kill the Mantis from almost full HP. So keep that in mind, that your last hit in your 6-hit combo is going to do a lot more damage, and your left shift is an execute that does more damage based on the target's missing health. So when you're using it offensively, make sure that you are using it to finish off targets and not just engage. So the enemy Mantis ults, so he knows he's not going to be able to do much here, but it fades, and he is getting on this penny. Left shifts defensively, kicking out of there, and waiting for his cooldowns over on the wings, as we have seen before. Hovers with his E right there just to build a little bit of overshield. Sees the Invisible Woman and the Mantis, opts to go for the Mantis in the back line. Gets right on her, tries to parry, but unfortunately gets slept here. So a little bit awkward, but he has a lot of overshield built up, so he's still at 300 health, still relatively tanky. And he's able to dash back into his team as his Luna ults and his team pushes onto this point a little bit. Unfortunately, they do lose their Rocket and their Star-Lord, but he ults to try and secure this point, getting on this Mantis, making her life an absolute hell, and finishing off the Invisible Woman because she is low on health, and his left shift just kind of clips her, and she gets torched. So good push. I think his team plays really well in this game as well. You're not going to see him do anything absolutely crazy, but this character doesn't look... He looks kind of flashy, but he doesn't look flashy, if that makes sense. So gets on this Bucky, creates some space for his team, hops back, goes around this corner, and you'll see him probably E here in a second just to heal up to full HP, build up a little bit of overshield, and go from there. Gets right back on this Mantis, makes her life hell. The penny mines are going to be there, so as soon as Mantis steps out of that, he sees it as a much better opportunity. Unfortunately, is not able to actually get a KO there, but his team is able to capitalize a little bit. They kill the penny, the Psylocke is also dead, and they're able to get a little bit more distance on this point with just under 3 minutes to reach that next destination, so they're sitting in a very good spot. What was I saying before? I don't remember what I was talking about. Oh, I see a lot of people, especially in lower elo, use their left shift to go in as Iron Fist, and that's definitely not something you want to do, I don't think. I don't think I've seen a good Iron Fist. Gets a nice cheeky double kill. That was freaking sweet. Sees 2 low health targets, and all he has to do is auto attack, left shift, and now there's not a whole lot of damage on the enemy team, so he just goes crazy here. Pops off on the Doctor Strange and tries to chase. Unfortunately, gets stuck on a mushroom. Happens to us all. It is what it is. And is able to anti-air the Strange here. So getting a nice double, getting some nice picks, and they get a lot of distance. But as I was saying, a lot of lower level Iron Fists go in with their left shift, and that really doesn't give you a whole lot of opportunities if the enemy just focuses you. Your block can only block a few auto attacks or a few attacks, whatever they may be. So you don't really have a way to get out. Your block isn't going to save you. You have no mobility besides your jumps, and you can just get shredded there. The other thing that I learned about Iron Fist as I was watching replays is that your right click, so it is the block there, but it also is... it empowers your auto attacks too. When your auto attacks are empowered, you actually cannot anti-air targets. You'll drop to the ground immediately. So whereas Iron Fist can usually anti-air targets, if you are in that block state with the empowered auto attacks, you will not be able to anti-air. So that is very important to keep in mind. If you're going for a flyer, don't pop your block. You'll just fall to the ground. So good to know. Stacks up his combo here, actually gets the last hit on the Hawkeye there, and then gets right onto this Mantis, making her life terrible as usual. Gets right into the thick of things, feels a little bit more confident just sitting there with his empowered auto attacks, using those as much as possible. Getting in there because he's standing in Luna ult. His Namor gets a 2-piece, and they're able to round this final corner with just over 2 minutes left on the clock. I do apologize if this commentary is a little bit more scatterbrained than it usually is. There is a lot of things to try and talk about at one time, so I apologize for that, but hope I'm doing okay. You know, we're learning over here. So get some high ground on this Bucky. Gets right on him, uses his left shift defensively. He knows this guy has no mobility left, so he just kind of sticks on him and runs him down, finishing off with his left shift because that is the execute, as we know. Uses his ult to take out the Mantis. Unfortunately, is headshot by the Hawkeye there because he does not have any more block charges up, but it is what it is. It is also important to note that when you're in your ult, your right click, your block is on a lower cooldown, so make sure that you are using that effectively in your ultimate because it will help keep you alive. And as we mentioned previously, your blocking attacks gives you overshield, so you want to make sure that you are as tanky as possible so you can live in your ultimate as long as possible and get maximum value out of that. Sees this Mantis in the back line, has just decided that I think he wants to ruin her day. Messes her up. They actually get the kill on the Invisible Woman, and his team pops off here. His Rocket gets a 2-piece, his Star-Lord gets one, his Namor gets one, and they are able to just run down this Moon Knight in spawn, round the final corner, and finish the round with a score of 3-0. So there was a lot to go over that round for sure. Let's get into the second round, and let's keep Luna Iron Fist together. This is a character that I think after watching a couple good players play him, he definitely seems a little bit more appealing, but someone who I would definitely need to take into quick play for a good amount of hours before I'd feel comfortable maybe selling and ranked with, you know. You don't want to sell your ranked teams. Selling quick matches is fine though. Goes for a kill there and uses his left shift defensively. As we mentioned earlier, you can use that both offensively or defensively. Sees the Psylocke on the left-hand side here and wants to make sure that she doesn't get behind his team. So he just kind of postures up, is confident taking this 1v1. She goes invis right there. I believe we could see her because she is... it's like a replay, but takes the 1v1. Psylocke dashes out, and he's able to secure this side, stopping the flank from his enemy team. Once again, using his E to build that overshield, building up to 300 health instead of his usual 250. Getting right back over here, looking for this Mantis. As we know, he's ruining her life. It's just happening. Pops his block, gets right in here, tries to left shift out, is blocked by the wall, but is able to just wall run up here and posture right above this entrance. So if anyone comes in below him, he will start punching him. It's going to be great. Goes right back in on the back line here, being very annoying, popping his block and finishing off the Mantis with a left shift, that kick right there. The enemy is now down Mantis and Psylocke. His Rocket ult is going, his Namor ults, and they're able to finish off a couple more, polishing them off. The Luna on the enemy team also kind of sells here a little bit because she ults just herself and the Doctor Strange. They are not going to be able to take out anyone here, and that Luna ult is down, so he has a lot more pressure on that backline. They don't have a way to survive for a long time against a lot of damage. That Mantis still does have ult, but that is a major cooldown that was effectively wasted in that situation. He gets the Psylocke low, she tries to get away, and is actually taken out by his Luna, and he goes right back into the backline. Unfortunately, the enemy is a little bit too far away, so he opts to back up, build his overshield, get back up to that 300 health, and go back in. Mantis ults, and a lot of the enemy team is standing on that, so he's just like, I'm going to kill this person in the backline that is not standing on the Mantis ult, which I think is a great decision. Tries to get the Psylocke low, but actually uses his left shift to get back to point. He sees the Invisible Woman and the Doctor Strange ulting his team, and pops his ult to get back there and help very quickly. I think this was a huge play, honestly, in his regard. I think if he hadn't dashed back there, he could have just been stuck in that 1v1 with Psylocke for a long time, and they wouldn't have been able to turn this fight in the way that they do. But with the help of his extra auto attacks, with the help of his extra damage, getting on the back line, getting on the Namor, taking away that pressure, they're able to get a pretty clean ace, I would say. I think it's at least 5 for 1. I wasn't actually looking at the top. I'm just guessing. If you're watching the replay, let me know. But very good awareness as far as when he is going for that pick and when he needs to get back to his team to help them counter that push. So going into the last minute of the game here, the Psylocke once again goes to the flank, and he is right there waiting, pops his block immediately, and just starts peppering her with auto attacks. He knows she's not going to go up in the air, so he can stay on the ground and still pepper her with those. He gets shielded by the Magneto. Very clutch here. Very good awareness from his team. Builds his overshield behind cover as per usual. Uses a nice double jump to keep the height here. Gets right back on the Mantis, pops his block, and just peppers her with auto attacks, keeping her attention on him as opposed to on her team. As a result, the Namor and the Invisible Woman are taken out. The Psylocke follows suit, and the enemy is going into 20 seconds left on the clock without any ticks on the point, actually, and keeping that score 3-0. He goes in right here, gets frozen in a really cool position, and is able to just jump back into the point, get on the enemy, and push them back just enough to waste a little bit of time. Luna pops her ult prematurely, and they actually don't even touch point here and trigger overtime, and they finish the game with a score of 3-0. So I hope you guys enjoyed that replay. I think it was an interesting, eye-opening experience for me, especially. I think it's interesting that there's usually there's that push and pull of teams, you know, one enemy pushes, or the enemy pushes and you push and all that sort of stuff, but this feels much more like a team push and pull, where you're doing stuff helping out your team, and then your team does stuff to help you out. And I think it's a very cool playstyle, very unique playstyle that you're not going to see a lot of other characters play with. So as you can see, he doesn't do any crazy damage or anything like that, but he does go 23-5, gets 15 final hits, so and he's a very good player. So definitely check out his YouTube channel. Again, I'll link that in the description. Leave a comment, like the video, leave a comment what you want to see next. And again, I just want to thank you all for the support that you guys have shown the channel. I really did just start this as something for fun, something that I like to do. Figured I would just start recording it. So again, thank you for all of that support, and you guys have turned this into so much more than something that I just do for fun. So I appreciate that so much. I appreciate all the comments for all of you that have commented on the videos and all that sort of stuff. So keep it up, and as usual, I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.